walk. Captain Lucian. So we're just going to walk with insufficient oxygen across the bottom of the ocean? Paul Abel. We don't know what's out there. Liam Smith. There are things that can happen that can make us feel powerless, that can make us feel insignificant. But that's it. They're just feelings. And sometimes you have to stop feeling and start doing. Nora Price. If there's a meltdown, there's going to be a lot of heat, there's going to be a flash boil, explosions, I don't really know. I watch a lot of anime. Rodrigo Nagenda. So, we've had our little discussion about H.P. Lovecraft and his works in a previous video. We've talked about the themes of his stories, which often provoke a sense of helplessness and despair. Now though, I'd like to discuss a film that involves elements of his literature, but actually go on to defy his themes of being powerless against overwhelming odds. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the film Underwater, released in the year of 2020, when the pandemic was in full swing. Hi, hello, and welcome again everybody to another episode of Natural Juan. This time around, we will discuss the film Underwater, starring Kristen Stewart and T.J. Miller, and directed by William Eubank. However, before all that, I'd like to make a quick shout out to our sponsor, Dermhaven. It's hard to get good skincare in the depths of the Mariana Trench, so should you decide to travel down there, make sure to get some good treatment from Dermhaven. Also, here's a quick acknowledgement for Mr. Jonathan Green, a longtime supporter of this channel. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, let's take a deep dive into Underwater. As mentioned, Underwater is a film directed by William Eubank with a script written by Brian Duffield and starring Kristen Stewart, Vincent Cassell, and T.J. Miller, just to name a few. It tells the story of Nora Price, portrayed by Kristen Stewart, a mechanical engineer tasked with doing research and repairs in the depths of the Mariana Trench for TN Industries under the leadership of Captain Lucian, portrayed by Vincent Cassell. Other characters include Rodrigo Nagenda, played by Mamadou Athie, who is an overall good-natured worker with a horrible sense of humor, at least according to the other characters. Then you have Paul Abel, played by T.J. Miller, who has a slightly better sense of humor but often makes the poorest jokes for the worst possible moments. There is also Liam Smith and Emily Haversham, played on screen by John Gallagher Jr. and Jessica Henwick respectively, who are the local lovebirds of the film. It all starts well enough with Engineer Price brushing her teeth and reminiscing about her love life. Sadly, it seems that her fiancé died quite a while back, having disappeared during a solo dive at night. According to her monologue, they never found his body, but since he was diving alone at night, his survival is highly unlikely. As she brushes her teeth, Nora sees a spider in the sink and considers drowning it by turning on her faucet. She decides otherwise though, and uses a tissue to simply move the spider to a different place. She even notes that this is against how she feels, as she takes comfort in cynicism, since you have less to lose when you don't expect anything. This is when everything goes to hell in a handbasket, when water bursts into the area she's in and the ocean outside comes pouring in. As she tries desperately to escape, she is joined by Rodrigo Nagenda, who is also trying to flee for safety. The two of them make it to an elevator type of chamber so that they can seal themselves away from the flooding. However, just as they are frantically trying to escape, they see two other workers who are also trying to flee for safety. Unfortunately, with the way the water is rushing into the facility, they are unable to wait for the two other workers. Regretfully, Nora is forced to shut the door on the two others. While awful, it turns out to be the best course of action, as Nora and Rodrigo are knocked off their feet by the shockwave of flooding water even after closing the thick metallic doors. They awaken later to find that they have survived and have successfully sealed off the remaining portion of the facility, preventing it from flooding. That said, they were also unable to save their other two co-workers. This is something that troubles Nora deeply even after Rodrigo tries to comfort her choices and says that there was really no other way it could have gone without destroying the rest of the facility. As they move through the heavily damaged facility, they discover Paul Abel buried under some rubble. After helping him out and looking after his rabbit plushie, which he calls Little Paul, they proceed to find other survivors. They soon locate Captain Lucian as well as Emily and Smith, who say they have managed to rescue and evacuate 22 other people. After a brief discussion, they discover that the rest of the facility has been almost completely destroyed and they are probably the only survivors remaining inside. To make matters even worse, it seems that the internal reactor of the facility is in critical condition and is likely to explode. It becomes apparent that they must find a way to escape or be trapped and possibly killed inside the facility. Captain Lucian then presents them with a plan that shocks all of them. They will have to walk for at least 2 miles across the seafloor to a drill at the heart of the facility called the Roebuck. This facility, according to the captain, has escape pods that they can use to reach the surface safely. And that, friends and neighbors, is where I'll stop giving out spoilers. As with my other videos, I think it's best if you see the movie for yourself. I'm not going to ruin any more golden moments that you might have when you watch this movie. That said, I am going to give you my honest opinion about it, and it's up to you if you agree with me or not. First off, while I will say that there is a slight inaccuracy when it comes to the gas used by the characters, which would have altered their voices, see, 7 miles below the water renders the regular oxygen we breathe potentially toxic. At the depths the characters are at, the gas they would be breathing would be heavily mixed with helium, causing their voices to shrink to a cartoonish degree. That said, I can sort of understand that they would have foregone using that effect in the film, as it would ruin the mood of horror that was already set. However, aside from the gas and voice issue, I think the film is pretty scientific with the effects of underwater pressure. It shows that ascending too fast from deep water can cause catastrophic effects to a human body, even if protected by a heavy suit. Other things to mention would be how hard it seems to be for the survivors to navigate the ocean floor, given that they are just people wearing protective suits and not using any vehicles. It shows just how dark and scary the depths of the ocean can be, as light from the sun never reaches this deep underwater. Nora also mentions how, without natural light, one's sense of time becomes distorted and difficult to track, which I came to experience myself after working the night shift. Another thing I'll mention is that I was pleasantly surprised by Kristen Stewart's acting. To be honest, I've never really been a fan of hers, but her performance here really nails it. From her monologues about her lost love to her regrets for letting people down and allowing them to perish makes her feel very human and relatable. Other standouts are the performances of T.J. Miller and his interaction with the other characters, being the source of good humor in an otherwise dark situation, like a small candle burning in the depths of the darkness beneath the earth. There is also the romance between Emily and Smith, which is only lightly touched upon, but feels genuine as the two of them come to realize the danger they're in and know for a fact that neither of them might actually survive. An overall tense and exciting film, I'd say, and just so you know, yes, Cthulhu from the works of H.P. Lovecraft is in this film. That said, I won't be telling you too much about the big guy, but he is in the film, and that might be something you're looking to confirm. However, unlike the traditional works of H.P. Lovecraft, Underwater focuses more on human struggle and is less about the horror and hopelessness that you usually find in a cosmic horror stories. Needless to say, while this is a solid entry in the cosmic horror genre, the defiance of the characters is more reminiscent of the works of people like William Hope Hodgson rather than H.P. Lovecraft, wherein they show that, fighting for survival and finding the will to live is the way forward and not just simply giving in to fear. Anyway, I think I've said too much already. I'm just telling you so that you won't claim it's just a rumor. So that's it for this episode of Natural Juan. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like it. Also, if you'd like to support my channel and what I do here, you'll find my PayPal, Patreon, and Gcash information in the description below. Anyway, see you all in the next episode. Natural Juan, out.